Is it going? I don't know. We're live.
There we go.
Welcome to 30 Days of D&D with the Blue Dragon Guild. I'm Baron.
I'm Dave.
Today, we're talking about our craziest experience in D&D. This can cover a lot of different topics. Crazy story, crazy mechanic combination, anything. Both Dave and I have at least one that we're going to talk about. And I know you're all wondering where Tommy is, and so are we. Tommy's not able to be with us tonight, but the description does say maybe Tommy. So we'll leave him in the thumbnail. He can think he's in this video when he watches it later. Dave, what is one of the craziest experiences that you have had in D&D?
Well, I might have a little recency bias, but even so, the fight we had with the Frost Maiden in the Icewind Dale campaign that we did here just over last summer, what was remarkable about that was we were getting destroyed. And to not bog you down with the details, but to give you an idea of what's going on here, if you played D&D for a while, you know that sometimes what can happen is the monster can hit a player, and then when you go to heal that player, it's not enough to compensate for what the monster can do next turn. So, for example, if you heal the player 8 and then the monster can deal 15, well, they're just going to go down on the next turn anyway. So what you end up doing is you're essentially wasting your turn healing a person who's just going to go down on the next turn. So what ended up happening was we were in a fight there, and your character went down, but my character did, but yours went down again. Here's the thing. We had a situation where we were rolling death saves, and yours was the first one. You rolled a death save, and in that moment, we didn't have anybody to heal. There was no time for that. Everybody was getting killed, and people were going down, and it was horrible. There was no time for any of it. You roll a death save, and you get a 20. So in D&D, if you roll a 20, you come back to consciousness, and you have 1 hit point. Well, obviously, what's 1 hit point? Well, the value of that is another player doesn't have to burn their action healing that person, and now that person's already up so that they can take an action. Mm-hmm. So you're almost buying 2 actions by virtue of the fact of that player rolling that 20. This happened 3 times.
Yeah.
You rolled it, you did it twice, and I did it once. The odds of a single encounter of rolling a death save and getting a 20 3 times, I don't even know what the math will be on that. And what made it crazier was in that moment, in that roll, we needed it. It was like if Baron doesn't roll this 20 here and get back up, we're all dead. That happened 3 times. Yeah. So, if Dave doesn't roll a 20 here and get back up, we're all dead. Rolled a 20 and got back up. Like, we had no right to win that fight. That was like winning by 1 point in 5 overtimes in the national championship. It's just unbelievable. We'll never live long enough to repeat something like that. And
absolutely not.
Yeah, in terms of story and stuff, we've done some crazy stuff, but that's pure dice. That's something we couldn't control. We didn't have advantage on the saves. We didn't modify the saves at all. We had no way of modifying the saves. And if that's the way it was, if just one of those didn't roll a 20, we were all dead. And we needed 3 20s on death saves to get through it, and we made it. And we all survived somehow.
Yeah,
just unbelievable. I wish. Oh gosh, if we could go back in time, I wish we could have recorded that fight because it was the single most amazing fight I've ever had in D&D.
Oh, I know. Like Mackenzie mentioned that in one of the previous videos. Like the emotion in that room. Like it was just, we were on edge. Like it was the best. Like half of us were standing. We were like, oh my gosh, what's going on? We're going. But it was perfect.
I think for some reason I'm wanting to think Tommy's character didn't go down, but I'm pretty sure he did. I think in the end, maybe he only went down once or maybe he didn't, but I know everybody else, we went down at least once, but we went down and we healed each other a few times. Mm-hmm. But there were times where it was like, we can't get to them to heal them, or we didn't have the healing, or because I think your guy and I think yours and mine were basically the healers, and you went down first.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, there goes that. And so the healers were the ones who went down first, and that's never good. And I can't remember if Tommy's done with that, but I know Chris's did. I know yours did mine. I think Tommy's did, but do you remember?
I do not remember.
I know he got hit the least because he kept doing the run in, hit him, bonus action, disengage, and run away.
Yeah. I remember because I was playing the Moon Druid and she knocked my wild shape out in like one round, and I was like, there's literally no reason for me to wild shape again. And like I think I was just like, I'm going to need more spells, so I'm just not going to waste a wild shape and waste my spells in wild shape to heal, because it's not going to do anything.
No, that was what was particularly unique about that situation was we didn't need. Sometimes in a fight, you need just a meat shield, and in that fight, we didn't need a meat shield. We needed damage.
Yeah.
And my guy was kind of a big damage dealer with my ranger, but he was the secondary healer. So when your guy went down, I was like, well, do I go damage because I deal the most damage, or do I go to healing and burn a turn doing that? And so it was just like none of it was good. I mean, we could. I'm not even kidding. We could probably go start that fight right now again 20 times, and we probably get beat 20 times.
Agreed.
Like that, we were not ready for that. Even by level, like we just structurally, team structure, there was a weak spot there, and by golly, she got it. Yeah. And we got through by the absolute skin of our teeth.
Yeah, we did.
I mean that's like, gosh, I mean, I feel like that's almost the equivalent like Frodo in the Ring. You know, it's like, you know, all these little no accounts, ignore them. Wait, they just beat us. What the heck happened there? How that happened? Yeah. You know, just unbelievable kind of stuff.
Yeah. We've got the D&D wannabes in the chat. I've never had a 320s moment, but my players came up with a creative situation that immediately solved a difficult situation. I think most parties are able to come up with some creative solutions to difficult situations.
That's part of the fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That brings up a memory of mine of a character of yours, Dave. Orsk, your dwarf druid. We had spent some time down in the Underdark, and we'd made some Dwergar pretty mad, and we had ran away from them, and we had stalled them out enough that we had like a good lead on them. And I remember your character always like what you'd find seeds, and you kept seeds from different trees and plants and everything. And I remember you told Chris, like, all right, I'm throwing all these seeds in this tunnel. You changed.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, you did like stone to earth or whatever.
No. It was like it wasn't like a big chamber type tunnel that you might get in the Underdark. It was like
a tight tunnel.
Yeah, it was about, I think it was like medium size, was as big as you could get through it. And I'm not sure if that, I mean, I think it would still work, but and I think there was maybe some DM allowance there, but I had a pocket full of seeds and stuff, and I threw them, and then I cast plant growth, which just springs it all up to life. And so what you once had, this bare, empty tunnel, is now filled with vegetation. So it was sort of like as a hindrance and stuff, and they really got a kick out of that. And I wouldn't, you know, it was like, I didn't know. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know if it would work or not, and I didn't know that it technically does, but I mean, maybe.
It's fun. The DM allowances, it's those situations that really like make the game for the players. Because I mean, yeah, maybe if when you get down to the nitty gritty of the rules, yeah, maybe it might not have worked. But like, what fun would that have been for us?
And somebody will probably read this and correct me in the messages, but I think the only reason it technically might not have worked was it was all stone. So there wasn't actually any soil there, and I don't think the vegetation technically wasn't present, but I mean, if there's seeds, then maybe that's vegetation. But I mean, again, it's kind of like that's one of those things that's um, oh shoot, I'm trying to think of it. That's one of those things that's kind of like it's not a roll the dice minimum maximum kind of. It's not a mathematical kind of thing. It's more of those one of those situations where you like I don't have like I want to obscure our cover, but I don't have fog cloud. But there's a pond. I'm going to drop a fireball on it. Maybe it makes fog or a cloud of fog or something. So it's kind of one of those things that's kind of not in the books in a rule setting, but it's kind of one of those clever things that players can kind of come up. And I think those are the most fun. I mean,
It's
and that's part of D&D. That's part of the fun. That's part of the imagination of it, the problem solving. And I think that's I've always rewarded players for coming up with that kind of stuff, whether
it
it's to the letter. I'm very much to a letter kind of player and DM. But when it comes to that thing, which is basically purely an imagination storytelling thing, I don't care. Sounds great.
the rule for me. The rule of cool will always win.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. What's
um,
your crazy moment? I don't think we got to it yet.
we haven't. My craziest moment, and I have talked about this several times on the channel. I've talked about it to several people because it's one of those moments that just it makes me so happy because like it probably shouldn't happen, but just all the situations, everything lined up perfect, and it did. Um, Mine is when I bluff checked Orcus. Not like, we didn't go to the abyss and meet the actual Orcus. This was like an avatar of Orcus. And basically, Dave's character, Orsk, and Jake had gotten into a little bit of trouble. And these cultists of Orcus showed up on Tommy's character's front lawn because he had a mansion. And they summoned up the avatar Orcus, and they're like, "We want that jar of souls that your companion stole." And the companion was this guy that we had encountered a couple times, but we didn't really. He wasn't a companion. He'd just gone with us a few times. He was a character of Chris's that became an NPC afterwards. But I was like, okay, like I'm pretty sure my character in game showed up like a few days later while you guys were like hiding out. And I show up, I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, they want the jar of souls. And I remember I told you, Dave, I was like, all right, Orsk, give me one of your jars and empty it out. And I went out there and I said, all right, Orcus, this is the one they said it was. And Chris was like, all right, roll deception. And I rolled like perfect. And he's like, all right, he takes the jar. He still doesn't know if he trusts you, but he believes you for now. And like, it's one of those moments that sticks out, and you're just like, I don't know if I could ever top that, but I'm sure going to try.
No, it was good. I remember that because uh, Tommy the Mass with Jake had got himself a mansion and a hoard of gold. I can't remember how much he had, but it was an obscene amount.
It
And it
was.
kept drawing in horrible things, and it ended up not being good. And I think he lost most of it or something.
He lost most of it because I kept taking it.
Yeah. But there was a lot around in that as well that was fun. For some reason, I remember digging a moat to try to protect it.
Yeah, you dug the moat, but he never had it filled.
No, that's right. He never had it filled.
So it was a ditch around his house.
God, that's weird. But those characters were. We did a lot of. Those characters did a lot of like flying by the seat of their pants and just kind of like let's
We
just
did.
living on the edge, buddy. That's all it was.
And also, if you think about it, we did a lot of like really like minute role play things. Like Tommy had a weapon shop,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and he fueled the weapon shop from items that he scavenged from things that we
Yep.
killed.
Yep. And I remember My guy kept running around. Every town I went to, I used it was plant growth. You can cast it as an action or an hour, or maybe it's an hour or 8 hours. I can't remember, or ritual or something. I don't know. But anyway, there's a secondary casting that's longer, and it uh, for that area, it's like for a year that yields like plentiful crops and stuff. And so my guy took pity on the poor, and he kept running around the peasants and stuff. And like
Yeah.
every town we went to, he would do that, and he helped like build up the
Mudtown.
yeah, like it kept building up stuff, and we did do a lot of. It was a lot of like individual character interests that we typically helped with and kind of worked on and stuff because I think I think my guy had some awakened trees that he helped like
Mhm.
guard that town with, and Tommy was helping the economy with it because he became the jarl. And then your guy, it was like a duke with a secondary
Mhm.
personality or something. I mean,
Um,
it was wild and crazy.
Dath Rin is a charlatan,
Mm.
so he puts on the guise of he's like some lord. I don't quite remember what it is now, but like
You had a good
I
name for him. I can't remember what it was.
yeah I don't it's on the character sheet written down.
Um,
But like I was really good with like forging
mm,
stuff, so I would like make laws up in Earl Jack Meffers' name,
that's right.
and like there was that's how we got Goblinus No Morris Day.
Mm.
It was the holiday celebrating the Earl. Um,
That's how we
jump,
got to be the Earl. Was because he took out. We beat all
yeah.
those goblins, and he like took credit for yeah. And then they cheered and all that kind of stuff. And uh,
To be fair, Tommy the player did not decide that his character took credit for it. Chris the DM said that that's what happened
mm,
because you and I were in the astral plane for like 3 days, which translated to 1 year in the material plane.
I
And
remember
it,
that.
yeah, because we had the Mage Bane sword, that sentient sword, and it opened up that portal for us.
Hmm. I don't remember that at all.
I'm remembering more as we talk about this, and I'm
Yeah,
getting real excited.
no, I remember
Um,
things too, but I don't remember that. But yeah, uh,
jumping,
we did a lot of like character stuff like that. We need to get back to that.
I really hope we
Implement that.
can in this one that you're running.
Mm.
Jumping back to your druid, like growing the plants and everything. If you remember Mudtown, it
Oh
was like
yeah,
when we showed up there, it was literally just like just this nothing town. People just lived in this swamp, just with mud. I think initially it was a creation of yours,
yeah. It
and
was the first. That was the first time I DM'd fifth edition.
yeah, and we because there was that cave that had all that mithril in it,
Hmm.
and I forged a deed saying I owned it, and I ended up giving the deed to the town because like my character and your character went in and like you literally like through magic changed the terrain of this town to make it like acceptable to grow crops, and like we invested money and we built this town up from nothing, and we got the trade route to go there because they were like, all right, there's going to be a mithril mine. Okay, yeah, we want in on that.
Yeah, there was like a green hag that was plaguing them,
Mhm.
and the town was just ravaged, and there was like a shambling mound that was causing trouble. And my guy basically spent the time uh, like trying to help them with the land and stuff, get them settled while you guys went and took care of the hag and like secured the mountain. Basically, they didn't know it was there. It was like an ancient druid
Yeah,
silver mine or something. So the town got it and became prosperous and stuff, and
man,
it was a big to do because like basically they like the hag kept messing with them and stuff, which is
kept taking
uh,
the kids.
yeah, kept taking the kids and stuff, and we that I think was the beginning of us using hags, or at least me using hags in almost every campaign I've done in fifth edition. My gosh, they're so good. I love
They
hags for
are.
villains. They're
Oh,
perfect.
absolutely. We'll talk about that another day.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like there are just there's so many good good times that were had with that party.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just the three of us, you, me, and Tommy. And man, that was so fun.
No, it was. And it was a good party makeup. Boy,
Mhm.
we learned that the Druid Rogue combo can be very devastating.
And
There's a lot of good combos in that.
I was a thief rogue. You were the land druid.
Yes, the one that isn't the wild shape one. I'm pretty sure that's
Okay,
land,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
it's
the other
land.
is the moon, which is the wild
And
shape based one. Yeah,
yeah, and Tommy was a champion fighter
yeah.
because at the time we did not understand Battle Master. I think just because we can't read.
Well, and that was also Tommy's first. Wasn't that like his first
Yeah,
D&D character or something? Like,
that was
or one of them?
his first fifth edition
Yeah, yeah.
character.
But he had not been. But either way, he hadn't played D&D much before that.
No,
We'd play 3.5 extensively at least, and then I don't think Tommy'd had much experience
he
before.
he played a little bit of Dragonstar with us,
Yeah,
but
I remember
not
that.
much. And then you guys started 5e, I think like about 9 months before we did, and we came in right at the end of 2014, and like it was good.
And we've not
Um,
dropped it since.
no, I don't want to go back.
No, I don't either.
um, but yeah, champion fighter. I think a lot of people sleep on that one, but like it was really good. And I thinking about Tommy's character, I just thought of another fun story, crazy time that we had. I remember there was a mirror of life trapping,
Mm.
and we
Mhm.
had to destroy it for something.
It was in that Green Hags layer, actually.
Yes, because it wasn't the original Green Hag, I don't think, because we killed her, but it was in like her like sister's coven, and she wanted revenge or something. Because I remember you had like 8 or 9 covens that all came
Mm.
together. Um, but yeah, because I remember Tommy shattered it with his sword, and it transformed his sword into a sword of life trapping, or
Mhm.
soul trap, whatever it's called.
Yeah, basically it was something I made up at the time. It was a sword that did something similar to life trapping, and for some reason, like I'm thinking, didn't Mackenzie have like a care? I mean, he came in much later, but I feel like he came in because he was like one of the souls in the mirror or something like that, or I don't know. Maybe not. I might be misremembering that. But
I don't remember that. I remember in a game I ran, you guys got a hold of a deck of many things,
mm,
aka the campaign breaker. And I remember Mackenzie's character, that he had played for one session, drew the card that like sends your soul somewhere else.
yeah,
And he was like, "Oh, okay." Because that was the game with Bander.
no,
And
no. Bander's the one that his soul got locked in like a crystal in the center of the earth, and Mackenzie's guy is in a coma. Like he's sleeping for like 1,000 years or something weird like that, or 100 or whatever.
yeah, I have it written down, like everything. I remember Bander pulled the card that like it transports him to like some place, and he's like locked up and under like heavy guard. I only remember what the cards do because I read them because we had that discussion about them yesterday.
Yeah.
So
The only one other thing I remember was with the Giant Death and Orse game was I remember I don't remember why in the world now, but you guys were there was like a rock nest, and I think it had gotten a hold of like me or you. I think it might have grabbed me,
it's
and Tommy
Tommy.
was on the side of
It had grabbed a hold of Tommy, I think.
what all I'm remembering is I'm remembering I can't remember who grabbed, but he was like higher up, and he just was like, "Screw it!" And this just jumped, like tried to jump down on it as it was underneath of him, and he started playing
Sharp
his
dressed
fight
man.
song, "Give Me All Your Lovin' by ZZ Top,
Sharp
and
dressed man.
or was it Sharp Dressed Man?
Yeah.
I don't like that one as much. So it's give me all your loving on my mind. So, so anyway, he jumps down on it and like, God, I think he landed on it and because we had been shooting at it and throwing spells and junk, but I didn't think he had any like ranged weapons, and that's why he did it.
Yeah.
And I think it was only after the fact he realized he had winged boots. That's when I remember him jumping on it. And I remember like, wait a minute, did you have winged boots? Could you have been flying this whole time? And he's like, oh yeah. I'm like, yep, that's Tommy.
Man, I wish Tommy was here to enjoy these
Oh,
stories with us.
yeah.
Um, I very much, I very much remember that because every time I listen to that song, I will send it to Tommy and be like, "I miss Jake."
Yeah. It's a
Um,
good time.
but I remember we got a ride from a dragon,
Yes. Yeah.
and the rock came out and just destroyed the
It was
dragon.
it was a brass dragon. It's whichever one's coastal. I can't remember if it's brass or copper.
I
Um,
thought,
I,
no, it was a chromatic dragon because we had to make a deal with
no,
it.
no, I think it was good. I'm pretty sure it was a
Was
good
it?
dragon. I'm
God,
almost 110%. I am 110% positive it was good. Because he kind of ran a town. I can't. I'm pretty sure it's brass that's the coastal. I could be wrong, but anyway, like
that is
you
correct.
guys got a trip, but it wasn't that. It was like, um, it wasn't a wormling. It was like a young adult, or I think, or adult, or something like that. It wasn't that
Mhm.
high up, but it's actually a lower CR than a rock. And you guys, it dropped you guys off, and then as it was going by, there was a pair of rocks that attacked it and just ravaged, just ripped it right in half. I was like, "Yep, enjoy that, fellas. That's what's coming your
Mhm.
way." Then you guys probably fought a hydra.
I I remember because we were like, because Chris was like, okay, after a while, that town is gonna realize that dragon's not coming back,
Yeah,
so they're just gonna like raid his lair or whatever.
yeah.
Oh
It's like
man,
they. I can't remember. I think it was something like he protected the town, and he might have been a gold dragon, but I don't think that's right.
no,
But he was protecting the town, and they would just lavish him with riches and stuff. And
yeah.
you guys gave him enough gold to like make this trip, and then he died.
I just thought of another one. Whenever we came out of the Underdark, we were like 100 some miles away from our home base town, and we found this town like at the base of the mountain. And when we got there, all the guards were like, "You can be here, but like your weapons have to be tied up. You can't have weapons here." And we were all like, "Okay, we need a place to stay. Like we're not gonna fight, whatever." And then Tommy gave that little kid that spider fang, and the little kid went to the guard and was like, "He gave me a weapon." And then they arrested him.
Yeah,
So
I remember that.
we had to bust him out, and then you wild shaped into a horse, and we like rode out
Yep.
of there.
Oh gosh, that reminds me too. I don't remember. I don't remember the circumstance because it was just hilarious. Um, but it was you. You weren't in the room with us, and I don't know why Tommy and I were separated. But like, you were over doing something in a fight, and then we just bust through the door, and I had turned into one of the large constrictor snakes Tommy was riding. And you just see this giant snake rip through this door with this dude on his back, like swinging a sword.
Uh,
Totally insane.
what's fun for me is there are certain things that came from that game that resonate uh,
Mm-hmm,
in all of our future games, like Tommy and the Winged Boots. There's not
mm-hmm,
a character he has made who has not inquired about winged boots. Um, the giant constrictor snake with the staff of the python.
yep.
We have done that multiple times.
Mm-hmm,
Um, I remember the first time we used the giant constrictor snake staff of the python. There was this horde of undead coming for us, and we had like found a place where we could funnel them into us. And to make sure not too many got away, I remember you summoned like a giant like moose or something, and then
probably
you
the
lay
elk. I think it was
yeah
a
the
giant. It was
elk,
the elk. Yeah.
and then you lay down the staff for the constrictor snake, And then me and Tommy were in like right there, and it funneled them all into us, and we just cleaned up on all
Mhm.
those undead. And you were like throwing spells, throwing a heal when it was needed.
I think. Oh,
Man,
I think I. Oh shoot! Was it? I want to say it was like stone growth or something like that. Yeah, I put it out in front of them, but no, I could have done that with the thing with the elk. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. And there, I think
yeah,
there was another one where we did that. We did something similar because we did a couple of things with like entangle and that kind of thing, where like they would be restrained or whatever and held up, and
yeah,
then basically your rogue would just rip through,
yeah.
just start knocking guys down and stuff. Like it's a really good combo when you get down into the like looking what you can do and stuff.
Um, I I think in our current party makeup in the game you're running, I think we're going to see that again because Chris is a bard. He's got utility spells. Mackenzie's a fighter bard, so he's got his few spells he's got, and he took the maneuver feat, so he's
Mm.
got a few of the battle master maneuvers, and he's also a cavalier. And then there's barbarian Tommy and me, the rogue. So I kind of think we might get back to seeing that like power creep that we saw with Dathjike and Orsk, but who
There's a
knows?
lot of support. What I've noticed even after the first uh, kind of fight there, the first session we did with it, uh, where you and Chris's character were a little bit lower. Even so, like it's hard to get things when you have damage dealers like barbarians and rogues, and you have support characters like bards. And with the way Mackenzie runs fighters is basically a support class.
Yeah,
Like it makes it offensively very very strong and very
yeah,
consistent,
yeah,
and it's good in that regard. The only kind of negative in there is I'm wondering how you guys are going to do when you get swamped with numbers. Because like in
yeah,
a one on the group, you guys are great. If you've got like four or five things, you might be in trouble because you don't have
yeah,
any kind of area control. Like people are going to be
yeah,
coming at you from all other angles. So we'll
yeah,
see. I
yeah.
might throw
That
something like that at you. See what happens.
that's that's one of the downfalls of Bard is they don't have much area of effect stuff. So I definitely think that is going to be an issue for that group.
We'll see.
So these have been some of our craziest experiences. A nice little trip down memory lane for both of us. Um, Tell us about some of your craziest experiences down in the comments below. We'd really like to hear about it. And make sure to come back tomorrow for day 11. And until next time, go roll